What's good, YouTube? It's me, your boy Squiddy, back again with another one of them videos. Doing a Master Duel video. Haven't done one in a while, but the new pack just dropped like the other day, and it's crazy. There are a lot of Swordsoul and Phoenix Enforcer, and just a bunch of like cards that completely throw the metagame around. Obviously, Swordsoul is like an insane deck. So today I want to do a quick little profile about this Squiddy Soul deck that I was able to reach Diamond 1 in I think 2 or 3 days just playing. The deck is really powerful. Start off, obviously, I play one Veiler. I'm playing Crossout, so I'm playing like a bunch of one-ups of the hand traps, just so you can negate them if they do come up. And this is actually useful because it's level 1, so you can synchro for level 8s with the Tennies, which are level 7s. We'll go to that in a bit. Tenny engine, we play 2 Adhara. Obviously, this engine is super cohesive with the deck because they're all worms, number 1. Obviously, you can go into Chisha really easily, and then they're also discard fodder for Longyeon, who has to discard any Swordsoul card or any worm. So that's really good. They're also super good extenders. They allow you to play without using your normal summon, and you can, if you draw multiples of these, or if you draw like a way to play Vessel, you just get 2 right away, so you can just make a free level 8 synchro. And also, Yugioh, obviously, really great at breaking boards by bouncing stuff. It's really good, especially against Phoenix Enforcer, because it's a 1-for-1 trade. And it really doesn't cost you anything, so that's why you play those. Next, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash. These cards are like the best hand traps in the game. You should definitely be playing, I think, 6 in like every deck, just because Maxi obviously the best hand trap. I think this card needs to go. It's just so unfair when they have it and you have no way to interact with it. Ash Blossom, obviously, this is a really defensive card as well. You can use it against Maxi offensively. So one thing to know, I see a lot of people dropping this early, like, if your opponent doing something on their turn where they add, and they're not really gaining advantage, you could just hold this until your turn in case they have Max C, right? Like if your hand is just going to auto-fold to Max C, you might want to consider holding the Ash if your opponent's not doing anything that you really need to stop. And then the actual Swordsoul is 3 Moye. This one allows you to draw a card. Super good. Only 1 Tae. This one's a super brick. If you draw this without any other engine in your hand, it's just like an 1800 beater. It's a Legend. And that's really useless. You really just want to use it as follow-up. But this being wins is super good with Baxia because you're able to shuffle back 2 cards using the token, the water token, and the wind. Whereas with Moe, you can only shuffle 1 because they're both waters. And Baxia requires different attributes of the worm synchro monsters that you use. So one thing to note there. Also, you could fun little combos, when you go to Baxia, you can dump Moe from your deck and then use Baxia to pop another card or itself to summon back Moe and then just go into the Moe combo and make Chisao. So neat little interactions there. 3 Ecclesia, obviously super great extender, super good going second. It's not as good at going first because like this deck isn't really impacted by Ash, but this is like one of the cards that actually gets hurt by Ash. Obviously attributes for cost. So yeah, that does kind of suck. But I still think that you need to play 3 in a best of 1 metagame because going second, you just want as many extenders as you can have. And this being a tuner as well, if you have Moye in this, you can just special this, summon Moye, and Moye gets impermed. You can still link synchro off into level 8. Another thing to note is when you're turn player, you have priority. So if your opponent say they have like a Phoenix Enforcer on board, you can special summon this. Make sure you hold down on the toggle so you can use the effective Ecclesia before they're able to use Phoenix. Because if you pass priority and they use Phoenix Enforcer and you chain Ecclesia, if you summon like Moye, it's going to get popped, so you miss the timing and you're not able to use Moye's effect. Whereas if you use this as chain like 1, you can summon Moye and they can't really respond with Phoenix Enforcer except to destroy like the token, but you would get to keep the Moye. If that makes sense. 3 Longyeon, obviously this one's super nasty. It's like Karas, you discard a card, summon it, make a level 4, and then you can synchro for a 10 and also burn them for 12. So very powerful card. You can also make Yahtzee with any of your level 1s, like Adhara, for example, and then pop itself, and then Yahtzee will special summon a Moye or a Tae from your deck, so you can go on to your regular level 8 combo. 2 Vashuda and then 3 Ashna. Ashna is obviously like the best one, I guess. It does lock you into worms, but you just have to be careful how you use it. If you have Ashina and another monster, you can summon Ashia, make Monk, special summon the other one, and then use Ashina's effect to special summon either Adhara or Vashuda to synchro off into a level 8 without using your normal summon. So fun little thing there. 1 Nib. This card's actually really good. I just want to play more because it's like really good in the sword. So you can't really play around it sometimes. You just have to play into it. So it's really good. Obviously 1 for Crossout. And then 1 Arch Nemesis Protos. This card's banned in the TCG because it's so insanely good. This allows you to declare any attribute. Usually you just do dark, and then you can pop all the dark monsters on the field. This cannot be destroyed by card effects, and then your opponent cannot special summon on their turn. So this means that, like, going blind, if you call dark, there's so many good cards in this format that are dark, like Phoenix Enforcer, Shurag, even Vashuda in the mirror match is huge. If you prevent them from summoning Vashuda, that's one less extender. Like, this is the easiest way to deal with Baron usually, by just special summoning this, making a monk, and then trying to bounce, because it's like a free negate off Baron. But if you have this on dark, they can't even do that. So it's super, super good. On your turn, if you're staring down a Phoenix Enforcer, you can obviously like Vashuda or bait it out. It's in the grave. You can summon this later and then call dark, and then they don't get the Phoenix Enforcer back next turn. So it's really, really good. I think this card should be banned eventually. It's just so oppressive. Obviously against Drytron, you can also call light, etc. You can call water in the mirror match if you have like a token on board or a Chen Ying, and then you can pop it so they can't like summon any tokens next turn. Super busted. Also is just a general really good 2500 beat stick that you can get off of Chi by searching Emergence and then adding this. A lot of times they just push for game with the extra 25. Free Pot of Desires. It's literally Pot of Greed in this deck. This is like one of the reasons why Pot of Desires got limited in the TCG. You don't really care about banishing stuff. Yeah, if you banish like a tie or whatever, your one-ups, it kind of sucks. It does kind of get tricky sometimes when you play Crossout Designator, because you might banish the targets that you want to banish in order to cross out. I normally always play this like first thing in my hand if I don't have a way to play around Max C, because I don't want to play into Max C right away and just lose. A lot of this deck just like revolves around you trying to play around Max C in turn 1 and trying to play around the other hand traps, so you have to sequence extremely tight. I usually just play Pot of Desires, hoping I can draw like a Crossout, a Call by the Grave, or Ash, and then not have to play into Max C. Unless I already have one of these cards. Sometimes if I have full combo already, I might just like try to do my full combo, knowing I'm already protected against Max C and other hand traps, and then at the end I just Pot of Desires to draw into like defensive cards like hand traps. 2 Vests, so this card's really good. I almost want to play 3, but I'm already at 43 and it's just like so huge. It also kind of sucks when you draw 2, but essentially this card is a +1. It dumps one worm or a Tenyi and then adds the other one to your hand. So like, if you have like a way to make monk, obviously you just get access to all 3 colors, which is super good. Also, if you just have like a token on board, you can play this and then just dump, and you're automatically like up 2 extenders. So yeah, really busted card. 3 Emergence, obviously self-explanatory. 2 Called by the Grave, and 3 Crossout. I think these cards are definitely needed in this deck. Unfortunately, I think just because Max C is so prevalent and like it hurts this deck a lot. So Max C is weird. A lot of times, obviously, if you don't have a way to draw into it, you have to play smart. Don't summon Longyon right away because they draw a lot of cards. They draw 1 for the Longyon. Because Longyon says after you summon it, then you can summon the token. They would get to draw 2. And then if you make Baron, they draw 3. So it's like you're already like losing that game probably. These Tenyis, obviously, sometimes you can just try and special summon this. They draw a card. You can just pass on them if you have hand traps. But the easiest way I find is just to go Moye. Effect, if they do Max C, it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna token, so they get 1 draw, and then I'm still gonna make Shishao, because what happens is when I make Shishao, I get a draw off Moye, and I get a search, and I get a negate next turn, right? So like, yeah, they draw 2 cards, sure, but I'm still up, like the +2 off Shishao, I get the draw off Moye, and then I get a negate next turn. So I still think it's correct. So that way, if you don't have any way to play around Max C, just summon Moye and try to do your combo. And obviously, don't summon Longyon after that. You just search Blackout, and then you set that. So gives you like a +2 plus a negate off of this card, so it kind of evens out with their Max C. And then obviously 3 Imperm. I think this card's really good, especially going second, breaking boards, and 1 Blackout, because that's all you need just to search. Also, this card you can banish as well. Shishao can banish using the effect. So if you're ever in a position where they negate the Moye and you still have Longyon, you can summon Longyon with the token, make Shishao banish the Swordsoul Blackout, get a token, and then you can link off into your synchro off into your 10. So that way you still get the board. And the extra deck, it's not really optimized. I think it could definitely be better. Some people are playing like the Death Spot stuff, but I don't really want to play it. I just get kind of like a brick, but maybe it is correct just because like it gives you another option to extend. But that being said, 1 Yahtzee, this card's really good. You can just make it randomly with like a Longyon on a level 1. Also level modulating with Swordsoul Emergence. Sometimes you can do it with Tenyi. What else? 1 Colossal Fighter. This card's hilarious. If your opponent maxes you and they have like a Baron on board, and you have enough life points, you can just summon this and keep crashing and reviving itself to deck them out. But that's assuming they don't play Ghost Spell, because that's like the only card that can stop this. DD Crow doesn't even work, obviously, because special summons in damage step, so they can't interact. But Bell does work in damage step because it negates activations. But I've actually done this a couple times. Just summon Colossal Fighter, they have no defense, just keep crashing, and then they dick out. So it's really funny. 2 Baxia. I don't know why a lot of people play 2, but I don't think it comes up. So maybe just cut 1. I've only had 1 ever come up. This card's obviously really powerful because you can target another card, special summon 1 from your grave, which comes up a lot. You can summon like Moye and like do your full combo. Draco Berserker, this guy's very, very good. It banishes cards. Also attacks like a BLS effect. The Adamantipator Risen Dragite. It's really, really good with Swordsoul Moye when you have it in grave because you negate spell and traps. Also, you can use the effect, and if you hit Nibiru, or if you play more copies, you just get like free bounces because Nibiru is a rock. 2 Shishao because you do need 2. It comes up in the grind game. Xiaofang, this is standard because there's a way if you have double 10E, you can actually do the combo where you can make Baxia, pop the Monk, and then special summon back the Adhara, which allows you to go into level 9, so you play around Nibiru before using your normal summon, because when Xiaofang special summon using Baxia, which is a light, your opponent cannot activate light effects, so they shut off from Nibiru. Also, this kills Drytron completely. 1 Baron, standard. Swordsoul, Chenying, super broken, non-targeting banish. Also gets really, really big with Pot of Desires, so it's fun to summon that out. And then 3 Monk. I think you need 3 because it does come up. This is your enabler. You have to have a non-effect monster in order to use these standing effects, so it's always good to have a way to get Monk. A lot of times, like if you're out of Monks, you just can't use the effects, which is super, super bad because you want to bounce stuff or special summon. And then 1 Shaman for the combos. And yeah, that's about it. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know because I do want to optimize this deck, make it a little better. I think it could be a little better if how combo's good. Yeah, and other than that, subscribe and comment. I'll make some more videos. Cheers.